Hello, welcome back to the Zouk Line. I'm very excited for this episode. We talk with Lisa, the creator of MMM, Mind Movement Magic. So we're going to just talk about that and some of her background and how Bruno has created Zouk as we know it in the U.S., among other things. So stay tuned in, and we'll talk after the bit. Well, hello and welcome to the Zouk Line, and welcome, Lisa. I just wanted to ask you. Well, first, let's just start. What is your name? Because I see it's a little different on Facebook versus other places.
Lisa Wimberger. People call me Lisa Marie. Lisa. It's whatever. Lisa Marie works.
I'm trying to think of where we should start because there's so many things I'm excited to ask you about.
Ask me everything.
Okay. Well, okay. I'll start where I start with just about everyone. Like, what are your Zouk origins? How did you find Zouk? How did you fall in love with it, etc.?
Yeah, I was a salsa bachatera kind of dancer for a long time, and I loved it. And then in 2016, I saw a video came across my Facebook feed, and it was Bruno in Switzerland, Bruno Gallardo in Switzerland dancing, and I was captivated. And then the next video I saw was Evelyn and Xandy, the white room with the black outfits.
Yes.
I saw those two things and I was like, what is this?
Which
And I,
sorry, I was going to ask you which Bruno video was it? Which one of Bruno?
it's the one with Eglantine in Switzerland.
Oh, okay,
They were
okay.
and it was just magnificent. And both of those videos, I didn't know what I was watching. I'd never seen the dance form before, and my body knew it wanted to learn how to move like that.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, I'll just, Google this Zouk thing and take classes. And there was nothing anywhere in any
Mhm.
states near me. There was like New York, there was West Coast, there was Europe, there was Brazil, and I was shocked because I didn't realize how new of a form it was. I just thought it was new to me. Um,
Mhm.
and that started my love for Zouk and my pursuit of I just want to move like that.
Wow. Okay. Okay. I think Teresa mentioned that same video, the one with Bruno and Eglantine. Yeah, and we all know the
Hmm.
White Room video. So
Yeah, I
this
mean
is
we all know it.
what year would you say? This is like
So
2016.
2016 is when
Uh huh.
I saw the videos. Um, January 2016. And in Denver at that time, there was a few people in the bachata world that we were all sort of watching the same videos. And I would say a group of maybe 10 of us got together at the park and we're trying to backwards engineer what we're looking at and trying to like teach ourselves this thing, which it doesn't really work very well. And so we're starting to meet now at the park in like March, April. By May, as Providence would have it, a community member was out in California at the Queen Mary, meets Bruno Gallardo. He has a layover, a gap of like 4 days where he's before he has to be in New York. And she says, "Oh my God, we've been watching your video. Would you come to Denver on your layover? I'll host you." He shows up May 2016 as our first teacher. Like
Oh my God,
my
that's
mind
amazing.
is blown. Like we're watching this rock star, and all of a sudden, a few months later, he's in Denver teaching like 10 of us. Um, and he was the energy that established the entire Zouk opening in Colorado, in Denver, was just his presence, him willing to come. And it was mind blowing.
It's so great. I swear, Bruno must have. Because I feel like that was him and that White Room video. I think that has sparked so many dancers because yeah, the video that I fell in love with was it was Bruno and Brenda at I
Yes,
think it was
the scarf.
Amsterdam.
They had the scarf.
Yes, yes. It's the it was to a John Legend song.
Yep,
The one I'm thinking of.
I
Yeah.
know exactly the video. I love
Oh my
that
god.
one.
Yeah.
So good.
Oh, so good, so good. And then so just from there, then you just So Bruno came to town and you just stuck with it, or like how did you
Yeah,
continue?
so Bruno came to town and cracked all of us open.
Uh huh.
Um, I remember taking my first few privates with him and having like no sense of being able to successfully do this dance because it was like no animal I had ever experienced. It was so technical compared to
Yeah.
all the other dances. And I was like, oh, my illusion of picking this up quickly is now hitting as a reality of this is going to take some serious learning. Um, Now, I had zero aspirations of being a performer, a teacher. That's not on my radar at all, never was. So
Hmm.
this was like coming from inside me, just wanting to have this dance form in my body. I was having some at that time. I was having some conversations with myself about how do I want to intentionally age because I started Zouk dancing at 47. And I was like, how do I want to intentionally age? I want to feel fluid motion in my body. And this seemed like the thing I could do that would usher me into the second half of my life in the most magnificent way. So I had that was really my motivation. And then from there, I think once people heard Bruno had come through Denver, it was now on the map of other teachers thinking that they could come through and do viable workshops, which was true. So in the first year that we weren't even really an established community yet, there was Bruno already coming back a second time the next year. There was Christina Montoya coming through. There was Debbie and Camacho. There was Igor Fraga. There was um, Carlos and Fernanda. There,
Oh my gosh.
we had a lot of just insane, incredible dancers coming through with a very new, we don't even know what we're calling our community kind of thing.
Uh huh.
And so by 2017, we had very, very quickly after this momentum started, we had an incredible community leader step up and say, I'm going to make this viable for everybody. And at that time, she's no longer involved in the scene, but at that time, she managed to bring in world class instructors on her dime
Oh
for
wow.
us, and established the Denver Zouk community in the most magnificent communal way. So that by 2017, Bruno comes back through, and he and I, we had already hit it off in 2016, but 2017, he comes back through, and we realize that we're like long lost family. And this relationship is like adoption for life kind of thing. And we're like, okay, now what can we create together? And so that's a whole other conversation we can get into in a minute. But that's really how it all started for me was that door opening in 2016. By 2017, we had a thriving Denver Zoo community.
Oh my god.
And by 2018, we had this amazing 1 year anniversary party that was like, had 100 people at it.
Oh
It
my god.
was, it was amazing. It was
Yeah.
such a beautiful time.
Who was that? Just so I know they're not in the scene anymore, but like, who was that initial organizer that?
Kasha, Kasha Vermiglio, her last name was different at that time, but
Uh,
um, man, she was so committed to community and seemed to have this incredible capacity to relate to all the other communities. So she was a salsa dancer, bachata. She was in all the other scenes. She could do all the dances. And she had this capacity to plug into all the other communities, to cross populate, to not step on toes, to find out what's your night, I'll do this night. There was such a communal, collaborative uh, essence about her. And she really just infused the community with a lot of warmth. I mean, there were fresh baked cookies every week at the socials. There was cake for everyone's birthday. There was house parties. There was beach parties at our little reservoir. She was always doing something and always calling people out for what she saw as their strengths. And yeah, she was a potent force that really started this whole thing.
Wow. Wow. How far, it's just the stars aligned. Everything. Wow, that's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Stars aligned. Yeah.
was there I know in some, okay, I'm trying to think how to frame this. So not frame it, but how to ask. I spent some time in Hawaii, right when that scene was it was brand new, and obviously it's Hawaii, very attractive place. And so they would get these amazing stars that would like come in over and over, not over and over, but but just like once one couple would come, they'd be there for a bit, a new couple would come. And something I noticed, or that they mentioned that they experienced early on with those students, are get kind of like teacher whiplash. You know what I mean? Where
Mm.
like you have one style and one way of seeing it, and another would come in. How did your community manage to how did you manage that?
Yeah, I think there was that. I think there definitely was that. There were some teachers that would contradict others, and that was a little confusing. Like, oh, I have to put my leg like this, but the other teacher said I pivot here and not there.
Yeah.
There was a little bit of that. Um, I think our community started to just really value, okay, what are core principles
Yeah.
and can I apply those? Um, and I can't really speak for the community, but what I can say, I had one of those aha moments. So a few years later, I got to meet Evelyn, who
Yeah.
is now like a co-creator with me, right?
I love
We
Evelyn.
get to work together.
Yeah.
And she was doing a private with me, and she said something that blew my mind. She looked at me and she said, "Have you been learning Zouk from tall, long-legged women?" And I said, "Why, yes, I have, or at least women whose legs I perceive to be long." Right? I'm short.
Uh-huh.
Evelyn and I have a similar like type of like we're short, we have short legs, and she said, "You're not enjoying the lateral at all. I can see it." And she said, "And I can see you trying to do it as though your legs are longer than they are." She said, "You do know you have permission to dance to your body type." And I had never heard that before. And so when you talk about the teacher whiplash, I think Evelyn was the first person that told me I had permission to adapt principles to fit my logistics, my reality. I don't have long legs. They're not going to look like that. And my gait is going to have to be shorter. I can make it look graceful, but it's going to have to be shorter, and I can't strive for the size of the step that I'm seeing on these women with these just magnificently long legs. So she
Mhm.
was the first person to say you have to honor your body mechanics. And so that helped me personally with teacher whiplash, because then I could look at other teachers and I could take the essence and the foundation of what they were teaching and also know that it may never play out in my body quite like that. So let me find a place of expression that doesn't compromise the foundation as well.
So the momentum builds in. Are you in Denver? You're specifically in Denver, right?
I live in
Okay.
Denver. Hmm.
So the momentum builds. Bruno comes through. You have a lot of teachers, and then I saw online that you started Mind Magic Movement in 2018, right?
Yes, so that was okay. So 2017, Bruno's here for the second time. He's teaching us, and we're in a bar, and I'm listening to his content, which is magnificent. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying, no, this is all wrong. Bruno needs to teach in a place where people have focused attention and can hear and can listen and can receive, and not competing with a bar who's got the bar music on and the drinks going, and people who aren't dancers are there drinking too much and now wanting to jump in. And I was like, this is not right. And at this point, Bruno and I already had this like spark of we could do something together, but I didn't know what. And I was sitting there talking with a few other friends, and I said, he needs a place, a sacred place for this. And I said mind, and someone else said movement, and then the third person said magic. And I said,
Mhm.
ah, mind, movement, magic. That's the party. And then I said, I want to throw Bruno an event that would warrant the amazing content he has.
Mhm.
And I want to celebrate my birthday. Because remember, this journey for me was about aging differently.
Yeah.
And so I approached him that weekend. We had spent a bunch of time together. I approached him that weekend and I said, I want, if I create this event for you, will you come? And he said, 100%. So mind movement magic was a spark of what I wanted to do for Bruno and his content and my ability to participate in that, and my birthday. And I needed to find the right place. And I looked and I looked, and a hotel was not it. And I was like, I don't know if I'll ever find the right place for this. And as luck would have it, or as the universe conspires, whatever,
Uh-huh.
um, I had been going to this retreat center up in Colorado for decades, playing music. My husband and I play music. We're drummers, and we would go there, and we had a great relationship with the community. But they had no dance floors. They had this magnificent space, but no dance floor. And now I'm like 2017, I want to throw this party. I go to this retreat center. We're just hanging out with the people. And the production manager says, so weird. We just got a contract for this event and they canceled, but not before we installed a 4,000 foot sprung dance floor for them. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Show me this now. They take me into what I had been in that ballroom many times, but it was carpeted. They take me in there. It's the best dance floor I've ever stepped on.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, this is where mind movement magic has to live. So I called Bruno and I said, I found a place. I called some friends in the community. I said, I found a place. Come look at it. Um, and I was ready to in now I had thrown many retreats for neurosculpting, but not for dance. So I had never thrown a dance retreat before. And I was like, I'm going to roll the dice and I'm going to foot the bill for this and um, throw this party for me and for
Yeah.
him and for
Uh-huh.
the community. And I created Mind Movement Magic. So we threw the first one in 2018 as a 3-day event. Had Brenda and Anderson, who also were just like idols of mine.
Oh my God.
Um,
Yes.
and I wanted to infuse Mind Movement Magic with everything that was me, important to me, because
Mhm.
this was a very personal celebration. So, of course, there's a drum concert. I mean, like, this is my house, right? It's full of drums.
Yeah.
I
Oh, I
play
see. Yeah.
drums. Yeah, I mean, it's my other form of expression. So I was like, what could I give to the community that's of me? I'm not a Zouk teacher. I can't give that. I'm not a performer. I can't give a Zouk performance. I can give drums, right? So we have a drum concert. And I can give meditation and neurosculpting because that's my profession for like 20 years. So I can guide people into their inner stories and work on what comes up during partner dance. And so I created this fusion of like, yoga, meditation, neurosculpting, drums, percussion, Zouk, and then socials every night. And it was amazing. And of course, like food is a big deal. So this retreat center has the best food on the planet. It's farm to table, organic, cooked by a chef. Like that never happens.
Yeah.
So I gave everything I wanted in this party. Had my birthday dance for the first event. It's a birthday dance I'll never forget, right? It was like I had to dance with Bruno and Anderson, and that was my birthday dance.
Yeah.
Um, and everyone wanted to come back. So I did it again and again. And by the third year, it was clear it needed to be longer. So I made it 4 days and then it became 5 days. And now we're in, we just finished year 7
Uh-huh.
and it's 6 days. It's mind blowing. Like people don't
It's
want to
like,
leave. So we have acro yoga and we have percussion class and drum concerts and meditation and sound healing and Zouk and socials every night and day socials, incredible food. And this year we did something that was even more exciting, which is launching a whole other thing for me. After the drum concert, uh, we then integrated the drums with the DJ. So now the Zouk Social has us playing live drums to the DJ set. And it just clicked and it was incredible. And so it's become this incredible experience that sort of created itself once the momentum got rolling. And
mhm.
yeah, it's my favorite place. You
Like I'm
should
so
come. You should
I know what
come.
to say. It's so funny. It's so serendipity because I was a drummer growing up as well. I was like in band, drumline, did the whole thing. Yeah, I love it. That's amazing. That's
One
amazing.
year, the first 2 years, I think, or maybe the second year and third year, I would during one of the drum rhythms, I would tap dance with stabs. So I'm playing like get it, get, with
Uh huh.
the stabs, and I'm like playing all the like bass beats with my feet, and then Gilly would be on kit, and it was really fun.
Oh, that's fantastic. And the word has traveled long and far about the food. How incredible that the food is, by the way. So
Ah, it
I
makes
have
me
heard about
so happy.
that.
Yeah, so
Yes.
let me just give you
Yeah.
an example. And now,
Uh huh.
forgive me if you're not a meat eater, but I'm just going to give you an example of dinner, right? Which is, by the way, all you can eat. But dinner is not, it's not one protein, it's like three. It's
Uh huh.
like braised chicken,
Mm-hmm.
pork belly, and New
Uh-huh.
York strip.
Oh my
All of that. And people will have all of that on their plate. And then every kind of homegrown side dish, chef choice, amazing side dishes. You've got like, I don't know, you've got pickled onions and watermelon with mint and feta. You've got hand roasted nuts and you've got homemade ice cream. And it's insane.
god. Oh my
And it's amazing what happens to your endurance and your
god. Mm-hmm.
mood when you get to be fed not
Mm-hmm.
just abundant food, but the kind of food that is grown with care. And the cattle, the beef that we eat at this retreat is from their cattle, from their land. It's grown on that land. And then they have vegan food and vegetarian food and pescatarian. And so they're cooking to everybody's specifications.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, you can see I get very excited about the food.
No, I mean no, I I've heard, and I mean I've seen some of since the pandemic some like younger dancers they come into I won't say younger but just newer dancers to the scene, and a few I witnessed that they went off to your event and they came back like changed. You know what I mean? Like you could like it would like they're it's like I don't know what you're doing there, but it's working. It's
We're
working.
doing, wow, that makes me so happy.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know, but the recipe works, right? So
Mm-hmm.
the recipe is my heart completely in this space. It is the retreat center, it is the dance floor, it is the food, it is the staff.
Mm-hmm.
My team is incredible. Like, it took a while to dial it in,
Mm-hmm.
but the team of people that help me and teach are like top notch integrity. Um, it's a clean container, meaning I don't BS, right? Like dance floor is for dancing.
Hmm.
And you can have all sorts of energy on the dance floor, and it can go really deep and internal and soft. It could go very sensual. It could go very big and explosive. But where it's not going is anywhere past that point. And
Right.
I am very serious about that because this is a family friendly event. So
Hmm.
I think also part of what gets people's guard down is the agreement and the conversation we have up front in the opening circle of what the dance floor is for
Hmm.
and what it's not for. And that actually took me a while. Like the first 2 years, it didn't clarify that. And
Yeah.
it was messy. And then I clarified it, and it became a place of play
Hmm.
where the other aspects that arise from that kind of intimacy weren't um, they didn't come up, they didn't cause tension, they didn't make people feel like it has to go past this point. It was like a lot of permission to play. So I think all of that rolled up, and then something about the recipe of the sound healing and then the percussion concert integrating music and rhythm from my world into this means people who aren't great at Zouk also have a way to plug in deeply because all levels come.
Hmm.
And the great Zouk dancers can plug in deep with the Zouk curriculum. But if you're not a great Zouk dancer, um, then you can plug in these other ways. And I think that's been an accidental piece of the magic too. Is that there were musicians there who there was a person there this year who had never zouked in her entire life, and her first zouk step was on the dance floor at MMM,
Wow.
and that was brave, but she could feel some sense of belonging because there was yoga and movement and mobility and sound healing. And so she didn't feel entirely like an outcast, even though it was new for her. So I think that seems to be helpful too. At least I hope it is.
Okay. And you mentioned earlier neural sculpting. I've seen this term before, but I don't know anything about it. So can you speak a little bit to what that is?
Yeah. So neurosculpting is it feels a lot like meditation, but it's actually a neuroplasticity brain training protocol um, to help people regulate stress, but rewire their patterns, specifically their subconscious patterns. It's great for trauma repatterning. It's great for the repatterning the internal stories that come up. And so, neurosculpting, I created neurosculpting almost 20 years ago because
Hmm.
I had profound physical trauma. I had grand mal seizures. I was flatlining on many occasions. I've had NDEs, I've had resuscitation. It was a mess. And it was a nervous system disorder, not epilepsy. So I created neurosculpting to condition my nervous system and rewire my seizure patterns. And I did that. And when I had my last seizure and I broke through my last seizure 18 years ago with this very protocol, I knew I had something. So at that point, I quit my job and I was like, I must marry this thing because I'm alive because of it. And
Hmm.
so I called it neurosculpting. And I've been like so obsessively focused with making this the mission of my life because I'm not a dumbass. It saved my life. Like I can't walk away from that. That's like making a deal with the devil and trying to get out of it, right? Like
Right.
I have to live this thing. And what I found when I started Zouk dancing was that I had a whole bunch of other patterns and stories coming up that I didn't even know were there. Like stories of, oh, am I good enough? uh,
Oh yeah.
can I be intimate with a stranger and have boundaries? All the stories that we all have,
Yeah.
um, they came up, and I realized that that's a messy space. And we're all bringing our messy energetics onto the dance floor and then touching each other this close to each other's faces and then hoping we go home clean. Like, that's not going to happen. How could that possibly happen?
Right.
So I started using neurosculpting on my own stuff and realized the partner dance world needs emotional regulation techniques. It needs trauma techniques. It needs techniques that are going to create a transpersonal clean container, and all of that is nervous system work. And that's when I realized I'm never going to do a dance event that doesn't have some component of regulation, ideally, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
and so neurosculpting is delivered as a meditation format. So at MMM, we do classes on the nervous system, so you know why you are freaking out when you go want to go dance, why you are leaving feeling violated when nothing happened or when something energetic happened. Like you get to see those things, and then you get the tools to actually navigate. And then we do meditations, and people in MMM, everything is a cohesive curriculum. There's no competing classes. So we move through everything as sequential and stacked, so that people are all like at the same place at the same time uh, with topics and processing, so that we can add a collective support to this situation. So that's kind of how neurosculpting plays into it.
Okay. Okay. And is this something that you teach only at MMM, or do you do it separate?
No, I mean, it's my life, it's my business. So I have
I see.
like I travel the world and teach neurosculpting, and that's is my day job, right? My 9 to 5, I
Okay.
have a private practice. Evenings, I teach classes, and then I have like online courses and books and practitioners that are licensed. So it's my full baby.
Yeah.
But so, for instance, Evelyn and I are doing the Followers Voice Retreat in New Mexico in August. That one is straight up what mental stories and patterns are in the way of your expression. I will handle that and move people through that. And Evelyn will give people the permission and the template for flow and expression. And so that's going to be a really integrated mind body experience as well. So and then I've done some work with the Austin Inspired Movement community many years ago. They would bring me out and they would do weekenders, and I would come in and do neurosculpting. And it always played real great with partner dance.
Oh, okay. Wow. Okay. I'm
I
like
mean,
mesmerized by this. Yeah.
what stories come up for you when you dance? I'm sure, and maybe you don't have to share them, but I'm sure there've been stories, right?
Oh, for sure. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's so there's so many. I'm trying to think of what I should what easy ones to like pick and describe. Um, I know when I started with salsa and bachata, because I was started with salsa and bachata before I started with Zouk. There was this great deal of relief that I had in that there were roles, that there were like rules and roles. It's like, okay, I'm the leader, so it's okay for me to make decisions. And then some of my friends that were followers, that they would say the same thing. It's like, it's okay, I don't have to be in control here,
Mm,
because it's like the world that I've been like raised in, and the way that I was raised was, you're always thinking, trying to be considerate. You're always trying to, not step on toes. Like, there's this like negotiation that is happening. So when I started with salsa machata, it was clear. It was like, you are leading, you're listening to your partner, but you're leading. You're being like
mm,
decisive. And so that kind of brought me into this like decisive world. But then when I got into Zouk, there was a way of like pulling that back just a bit, to where there is like, you're still like, you're making suggestions, and
mm.
then if and then you're listening to how that conversation's sort of going. And there was so much about like finding comfort in that, you know what I mean? So like, it went extreme in one direction, but then kind of pulling it back a bit, but still having, like, there was so much that I was learning about myself and about masculinity. Honestly, like, it's just like, how how do I be, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. How do I fill this, like, it felt good to lead, and so how do I do that in a way that isn't like dominating? You know what I
Now
mean?
imagine. that story coming up and then having a practice or a vehicle that allowed you to go into your nervous system and orient your nervous system gracefully towards that instead of with doubt and resistance. Like
Right.
that's what we do at MMM.
I see. I
So it's
see.
a way to like condition your nervous system to orient it towards the aspects of your dance or your relationship to self and dance or relationship to the other person in a way that makes it expansive and fluid and
Hmm.
clean versus contracted and resistant. So one of the things that's interesting about the last few years at MMM, I start the group conversation with, um, but this is before everyone even knows each other, like raise your hand if dot dot dot, and then I go through a list of ifs, and a few of
Yeah.
those ifs are if you've ever felt you were not good enough to ask someone to dance.
Oh
100%
God.
of the room
Yeah.
raised their hand. If
Oh yeah.
you've ever left a dance feeling worse about yourself than when you started, right? So I'm asking
Yeah.
questions, and 100% of the room is raising their hand, including the teachers, including Paolo
Okay.
and Luisa and Bruno and Haiza. And so you get to realize no one is exempt from their stories.
Hmm.
And why wouldn't we have a practice that helped us soften the contraction that comes when those stories ignite so that we could step into a dance with each other, not in that frame of reference, in the frame of reference of curiosity and play and, huh, maybe I am good enough to ask this person to dance. So yeah, I find it really fascinating that we all have those stories.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Yes. Oh, okay. Let me see my questions here so I don't because I man
Yeah.
we could talk forever. We have so many interesting things. What one thing you mentioned earlier because you mentioned that you started Zouk at 47, and I feel like most Zouk dancers they start in their late 20s. It's what it seems like. So how have you been able to navigate that both with your health, your body? Because a lot of these dances they naturally occur at
Yeah.
like very late at night, right? Like one
Right.
in the morning, on six. It's crazy. So yeah, how have you been able
um,
to like manage that?
well, denial is a really potent medicine. Uh, yeah. I will say that it was a very intentional mission for me to, in my 40s, start taking care of myself in a way that would create quality of life well into my later years. My
Mm-hmm.
work is in the longevity space as well. So I know that there's a whole lot we can do to reverse the clock. And dance and interpersonal connection are two profound ways to reverse the clock. They
Mm-hmm.
both create endorphins that have massive systemic effect. Oxytocin is not just the trust and love molecule, it's the governing hormone of all of your hormones. So when oxytocin is elevated, which happens in partner dance, then cortisol levels go down. They are inversely related. And when cortisol levels go down, women produce the right amount of estrogen and men produce the right amount of testosterone for their body types. And so
Mm-hmm.
we've got this happening, and all of that happens with a burst of oxytocin. And that happens when you can dance a Zouk dance without your stories getting in the way. So I know the science that made a business case for me to start a very complicated dance that had lots of tight leggings and crop tops and undulations at 47. I'm like, oh my god, this is what I have to deal with. But
Yeah.
I'm going to dive in, and I dove in, and it definitely lit me up. It lit me up in a way where I would forget my age. This is where denial, delusion, and being in the moment sort of all blend and blur. I
Uh-huh.
would forget my age while I was dancing.
Yeah.
I wouldn't necessarily forget my age when I looked in the mirror, but I would forget it while I was dancing. And that is potent magic for any aging body, to be so present that you forget your age. Because when we age, we wear that identity like a prison sentence.
Mm-hmm.
And that alone, holding that identity, ages us faster at a subconscious level. We're spending valuable brain energy holding that identity. When you can release that in bursts of 3 to 5 minutes or an hour, depending on what kind of Zouk you do, um, you are getting freedom, subconscious freedom, energetic freedom, neural freedom from the labor of that false identity, which is I have to age in a certain way. So it was potent, potent age reversal medicine for me, combined with can I sleep well? Can I eat well? The sleep and Zouk, they don't play nice. We're trying to figure that out by putting in day socials and things.
Yeah.
Um, but the other thing I noticed is when I ate well, I could handle a late night of Zouk far better and be more resilient the next day. And then I started looking at the congresses going, they're missing the boat,
Yeah.
missing the boat, because the recuperation time after a congress taxes a body so much,
Mm-hmm.
because of lack of sleep and crappy food. Now, if you can address at least one of those, you're ahead of the game biologically. Um, and I do a ton of meditation. I
Mm-hmm.
I look at my stories of aging, and there are times where I do, like, I'm not staying up till 4.
Yeah.
I'm tired. Like, I'll be 55 next month. I don't
Wow.
need to stay up till 4. You
Yeah.
know what I love to do is have a great few dances and then go to bed. Like, oh, I get to go to bed. This is like the icing on the cake. Um, and then trying to create events where there's some of those things addressed. And then, of course, like eating right. And I don't drink alcohol. I never did. And I don't smoke. So there's resilience there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and laughter. Like, all of these things can happen from Zouk. And I think it's incredible anti-aging. There were times where my back was just messed up, but that was more user error, I think, than
Mm-hmm.
age, because I don't get those problems anymore. Correcting my lordosis helped. Correcting my pelvic tilt helped. Learning how to do head motion the right way, and like slowing down and not getting to it till I learned it better the right way, and then still refining it because um, education helped. But
Mm-hmm.
my body is extremely resilient. I'm probably stronger now than I've ever been, just because of working out and conscious attunement to I don't want to age like my mom did.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So all of those things. And then, calling it at 1:30, 2 a.m. instead of 5 a.m. It's very helpful.
Yeah. 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 Something I've been trying myself is what I just tried this recently, where I just go to bed super early, and then like especially if it's one of those all night socials, and then I just get up at like 5, and then just catch the last hour and a half of because
And
by
move
that
into
point usually.
breakfast.
Yeah, exactly. Going to breakfast, and usually like the vibe is much more chill at a lot of these
Yeah.
congresses at that hour. So it's
Yeah.
like I think that's been my recent unlock too.
Yeah.
is
Well,
doing
it's
that.
interesting because we did a day social this year, and now people are like 2 days of day socials. So I always adapt the event based on feedback. And so now people want more day socials. And honestly, the dancing was next level at the day
Love it.
social this year. And I was like, okay, great business case for that. And then
Yeah.
I do Pajamathon in January's, and that this January will be the third year of Pajamathon, and that is an attempt to do more marathon style, starting in the afternoon and going to like 2 a.m. instead of 5 a.m.
Mm.
So trying to like move the dance window. Um, and then, of course, with the retreats, the other retreats, those will be early bedtimes. And then I'm hosting the brick courses for Bruno and Haiza. That's going to be early bedtimes and quality practicas. So, playing around with designing it in a way that's like friendly for all ages,
Hmm.
because when you have that other schedule, it's really not friendly for people over 35. It's just not.
Yeah. Um, you, you mentioned Brick. For those that don't know what Brick is, could you speak a little bit about that program?
Yeah, Brick is Bruno and Haiza's extremely amazingly well thought out fundamentals course. So they have many levels. Um, they only just brought it to the United States this year.
Uh huh.
So I will be the home of Brick in Colorado. I'm very excited about. So level one is in November, and that's a 30-hour dance training. And there's like informal socials, but it's not like Zouk Congress. It's like you're going to come here for some intensive dance training. And then we're doing level two immediately after Mind Movement Magic 2025. We're just going to stay at the retreat center and roll out MMM and roll in bricks, so we don't have to. People who want to do both don't need two plane tickets. Bruno and Haiza don't need two plane tickets.
Yeah.
And so we're going to make Colorado a home for brick. And I'm really excited because the retreat center has uh, made me a partner
Oh, great.
so that any Zouk or any dance events really that want to happen at that beautiful place, I get to co-produce. I get to vet so that the retreat center has amazing people. I get to be the co-producer and the liaison so that I can help people who have never run dance retreats before but want to run something really immersive. I can guide them through all of that and even co-brand it if they wanted to. So I'm excited about that. So now I have like 5 different events happening there this in the next 12 months. I'm very excited.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think at one point you were having organizer workshops, or did you throw an organizer workshop
I
at one point?
did. I did a couple times. I did workshops on how to organize events,
Yeah.
things like how to budget, pitfalls of no
Yeah.
contracts, what you can put in there, how to set the space with intention, how to make sure that you are treating the artists. So it was basically me sharing just whatever worked for me. I wanted to help others feel like they could be equipped to do that too. And now, rather than like doing the courses, I'm just available as like co-producer. Um,
Oh, I see. Okay. So
yeah,
those are no more, and you can't like buy
I mean you
the
can. I
video or
mean
anything.
you can. It's
Uh
a
huh.
little outdated. I would probably update it, but if there was a need, I would definitely do another course.
Yeah,
Yeah.
please do. Just for me, because
Okay.
we're
Great.
we're doing here in LA. I'm throwing my first major weekender, into next week.
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you, thank
Oh,
you.
next
And yeah,
week. Nothing like waiting to the last minute to ask for tips.
well, no, I mean it would be for the next because I've been
Oh,
learning so
okay.
much the hard way so far. Uh, I've been learning a lot.
Yeah, I
um,
did. The first 2 years was that was
yeah,
it, I laugh at it now, but it was like, oh my God, that happened.
yeah, yes, 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 yes,
Well,
yes. So.
congratulations.
Well, thank you, thank you. Yeah, so I hope you do bring, because I saw when you posted about it maybe a couple years ago,
Yeah.
but whatever reason I wasn't able to like catch it on the
Yeah.
day or whatever. But I think there are a lot of new organizers that would find interest in that, or even if it's a recorded thing and it's just you just buy the video or whatever, that
Yeah.
would be great
Yeah.
too.
I actually have those, so they're archived, so we can chat about that.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
And last thing, 'cause I know we're getting close to right at the hour. Um, as for people that want to go to MMM, and it's Mind Magic Movement or
Mind movement magic.
Mind Movement Magic. Okay, Mind Movement Magic. Um, how does that work as far as like ticketing and all that? Like, because it's usually sold out very early in advance, and
We're already sold
there's
out for follows for 2025. It's
oh my
crazy.
god.
So I will tell you this.
Uh huh.
And I've never planned this and I don't really advertise it very much, but the people who go every year want to keep coming back. So the
Yeah,
last day of the event, they all buy tickets.
I
And
see.
then I have 4 years of archived wait lists. But each year
Uh-huh.
there's a wait list for follows. So once the pre-sale tickets go, I then personally reach out to the wait people who have been on the wait list in the past that never attended, and I give them an opportunity. Then those tickets go. So MMM ended 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. We're sold
Hmm.
out for follows for 2025, but anyone can message me and say, please put me on the wait list. And what happens is every year in March and April, there's a lot of turnover. So it's very possible to get a ticket if you're on the wait list. It's not possible to get a ticket if you don't put yourself on the wait list.
I
So
see.
just message me, say you want to be on the wait list, and I will reach out to you when ticket holders have tickets to sell. I will broker that for you so that you don't have to like wait to find a post on Facebook, and it goes in order of who's on the wait list. Now, I'm not sold out for leads right now. There's 20 lead spots left. Lead tickets always move slower,
Yeah.
but each year those sell out. They just sell out later.
Hmm.
So if you're a lead and you want to come, message me and I can get you a ticket. It's May 21st to 26th,
Okay.
2025. Message me. I can get you a ticket because come November, lead spots will go to a wait list too. I'm very fortunate. I've never really had to like advertise it, mostly because the first 2 years I had rock stars teaching
Yeah.
that brought the people, and then the experience kept the people. And so I feel really, really grateful and fortunate that I don't have to run this retreat to a set of margins or income goals, because I already know going in what my budget is and that it's already, you know, breaking even, so that I have room to just make it better every year.
Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic. And the housing is separate, right? Or are they? Is it all together? It's a
Housing is separate. So I'm going to give a little, I want to talk about this for just a brief second. Do I have a minute?
please, please. Oh,
Okay.
of course. Yeah. All the time you know it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the ticket for the 6 day event for the curriculum is $3.99.
Uh,
And then you book your room, food with the retreat center. I would say to average about $115 a day per person for your stay, which includes room and food. And some people say, oh, that's a lot.
mhm.
I get it. So 6 days, that's 5 nights. So you got like 500 and change on top of a $3.99 ticket. So you're looking at $900 for a 6 day retreat. Number
Yeah.
one, that is definitely cheaper
Yeah.
than a good bunch of retreats you all attend and then tell me that this is too expensive, because I know what those
Mhm.
prices are. But I want you to really hear this. You're eating pork belly, New York strip, braised chicken, unlimited eggs, bacon, homemade pancakes, homemade ice cream, snacks, unlimited coffee, unlimited tea, and the two best sprung dance floors you will ever dance on in your life. All right, that's an exaggeration. Two of the best sprung dance floors you will come across in Colorado. Let's put it like
Right.
that.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, now when you look at that, you're not getting beans and rice. You're
Hmm.
not getting burritos for breakfast. You are not getting sliced lunch meat for lunch. And you are not getting the same buffet every night for dinner. You are getting chef cuisine that is different every single day. A New York strip alone is a $30 piece of protein. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that is what I want to say about the fact that it will cost you about 900 total for the 6 days if you decide to come. Now there also is a camping option, which is a little cheaper, and
Mhm.
it's glamping. You're not in the woods. You're actually like 10 feet away from the building where everyone else is sleeping.
Mhm.
Um, so camping is a more affordable option as well. But uh, The food alone is far exceeds the cost of room and accommodations. So that's the ballpark of what it is. Um, I know that there are retreats that cost 800 out of the gate, and then they invite you to work trade on top of that. Like you actually have to work
Yeah.
and pay $800.
Yes.
And
Yes.
that's a cool model too. That's like there's lots of cool community models. Um, but they're all different. They all have their own value. And the value of MMM is if you come, I'm going to spoil you. I'm going to
Hmm.
spoil you with food. I'm going to give you gifts. We're going to have wellness products everywhere. I'm going to feed you nonstop. Even if the chef isn't feeding you, I am feeding you. I'm going to give you sponsored, incredible gifts to spoil you. Like there's a lot for that
Yeah.
cost.
Well, I mean, and my average Congress spend just when I go to any Congress, a hotel Congress, it's about $1,000. You're like it really like just whenever I think of a Congress, $1,000, boom, thousand
Yeah.
dollars. So yeah,
Okay. So
this is
it's in
yeah,
line.
but
It's
this is
in
much longer.
line.
This is yeah, it's like six
Yeah.
days rather than
Yeah.
the three
It's
of a
six
Congress.
days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so intrigued by your event. Just it, I think in previous years it had collided with Canada. I mean,
There
I don't.
last year it overlapped Canada Zouk, and that was out of my control, and that was
Yeah,
terrible.
yeah.
And then usually it's the week after.
Oh, okay, yeah,
Yeah, but still it taxes people, right? Because they're like, well, I just went to Canada Zouk, I can't. But we have a lot of people that come right from Canada Zouk to MMM.
yeah. Well, and for me, I think the vibe of your event aligns more with me than because yeah, I'm kind of just a little personally just a little bit over congresses. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like for the
yeah.
most part, I mean, maybe one here and there, but but yeah, yours sounds a lot more in alignment what I'm looking for.
It's
But
it's just fun. It's fun, and the other thing I didn't say is that at MMM, I should have said this, but at MMM, the teachers only teach a limited amount of classes because the goal is that they get to participate too and they get spoiled and they're not workhorses. And I will tell you that those teachers are in every class. Paulo, Luisa, Adayu Raven, Bruno Haiza are in every class, whether it's acro yoga or meditation or percussion, and they are having a blast. And that was the other intention was, can I make the teachers feel that work is not work and that they're just cared for? And that's important to me.
so great. Okay. Now, I always ask people if there's anything else that they want to mention or talk about, or if anything on your mind you would like to share.
I just really just so appreciative of this dance form because it's opened up so much in my life. It's opened me to family. I mean, um, Bruno and Haiza are my family at this point.
Yeah.
Um, you know, they, yeah, their family, the teachers that have come returning year after year. Adayu is my family, Adayu and Raven, Paulo and Luisa. I feel like this is more than, they're not hired talent.
Hmm.
This is them coming home to
Yeah.
a space where I can make a home for them. And I just feel so grateful. And I have, yeah, just so much overflowing gratitude for what Zouk has done in my life, for the lessons it's taught me, the good and the bad, for the
Yeah.
boundaries it's taught me, for the clarity it's given me, for the what it's done for my body and my health and my mind, and just so grateful for this form.
Me as well. Well, thank you
Yeah,
for
thank
coming on
you.
and talking. Um, yeah, you have me interested. I know this episode might come off like a commercial, but whatever. It's amazing. It sounds amazing. I'm sold. I'm like, all right. Let me see
Great.
what I
Well,
can do.
you better DM me right away.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you
Yeah.
should be there. You should be there.
Okay. Well, all right. I'll do it. So yeah.
Okay. Great.
Okay, that's it. So thank you again for joining the Zouk Line. As always, feel free to join the Zouk Line Discord and or Facebook group. And as always, feedback is great. Let me know if these things are resonating or if there is something or someone I should talk to, or if you have something to say, let me know. Like I'm interested in talking with people that have something on their mind. So thanks again, and we'll see you on the next episode of The Zouk Line.